NBA Top 100 Players of 2019-2020, 75 through 51, by Panamaniac03. Just like the last time I did this, I'm going to skip the first couple of paragraphs because they're the exact same as the intro article, so I advise you to go back and read that article to get some more context about this ranking breakdown. Okay, so we're going to start right away with number 75. 75 through 71. Lonzo Ball, Marcus Smart, Dwight Howard, Ja Morant, and CJ McCollum. 75. Lonzo Ball. Lonzo's assist numbers are his best quality on the court and on paper. His average of 7 lands him at 12th best in the league. Despite a notable increase in his shooting percentage later in the season, Ball's inconsistencies from the field and high turnover rate hurt his stock more than anything else in the NBA Top 100 list. 74. Marcus Smart. Smart is one of those players known for being good to have around no matter what the stat sheet says. For him to still be in the top 75 with that intangibles label is impressive. He ranks 11th in steals per game and top 35 in defensive win shares. However, his stellar aggressive defense is also his biggest downfall, as his personal fouls are his lowest ranked stat. 73. Dwight Howard. Howard has found a resurgence in LA and ranks only a few spots lower than the man starting ahead of him. His true shooting percentage is off the charts at 69.6%, and his offensive rebound percentage is 11th in the league. His stats that are most lacking, as can be assumed from a backup center, are fouls, assists, and turnover rate. 72. Ja Morant. Being on a top 100 list as a rookie is impressive. Ja's stellar playmaking for himself and others push him firmly in the mix. He is top 20 in both assists per game at 6.9 and assist percentage at 34.6%, while maintaining a 17.6 average in points per game. His turnovers are high, but I can't see a future in which he doesn't gain more consistency in ball security. Morant earned his place in year 1 and will likely be a regular for a while. 71. CJ McCollum. McCollum has had a quietly solid year. Unfortunately, it has not been much more than that. Solid. His 22.5 points per game are good for 22nd in the league, but that's where the elite stats stop. His offensive win shares and assists per game are above average, and his fouls, turnovers, and lack of rebounding hurt him the most. McCollum's above average year may play a part in the Blazers' struggle. 70 through 66. Kevin Love, JaVale McGee, Brook Lopez, Devonte Graham, Derrick Favors. 70. Kevin Love. As has been the case for much of his career, Love's elite rebounding lands him in the top 70 players this season. His 8.8 defensive rebounds per game, 8th, and 31.1% defensive rebound percentage, 16th, are elite stats, especially for an unathletic big man at this point in his career. His inability to create steals and blocks consistently is the weakest part of his resume. 69. JaVale McGee. McGee has played his role well nearly everywhere he's been. His block percentage is top 10 in the league, and his 1.5 blocks per game are good for 15th. Playing alongside the league leader in assists has helped his true shooting percentage climb over 65. Since McGee knows his role, his assists and assist percentage are his lowest stats, as they should be. However, his lack of points per game leaves him outside of the top 250 scorers this year and outside the top 50 on the NBA Top 100. Number 68, Brook Lopez. Lopez has found the perfect role for him playing alongside the league MVP in Giannis Antetokounmpo. The big man in the middle has tremendously improved his three-point shooting and interior defending over the course of his career, exactly what this Bucks squad needs. Lopez's 2.4 blocks per game ranks 2nd in the NBA. He's also top 10 in defensive win shares, 4th, and block percentage, 7th. Due to his three-point tendencies, his lack of offensive rebounds plagues his ranking, along with his assist numbers and overall true shooting percentage. 67. Devonte Graham. A potential most improved candidate, Graham burst onto the scene in Charlotte with his three-point barrage early in the season. Although his shooting cooled off as the season progressed, his 7.5 assists per game, 8th, and 35.3 assist percentage, 15th, have kept him firmly in the middle of this list. His high usage rate combined with 2.9 turnovers per game drag his rankings down more than anything. 66. Derrick Favors. Favors has quietly had a solid season, on par with much of his career. Although he's not a big name, his veteran leadership and consistency around the rim have helped the new-look Pelicans compete for a roster spot. He ranks in the top 25 in offensive rebounds per game, 8th, offensive rebound percentage, 17th, defensive rebounds per game, 22nd, and defensive rebound percentage, 23rd. His elite rebounding numbers have been balanced out with his lack of assists and abundance of fouls. 65 through 61. Brandon Clarke, Jamal Murray, Jonathan Isaac, Will Barton, Danilo Gallinari. 65. Brandon Clarke. One of the bigger surprises on this list, Clarke had a stellar rookie season with the Grizzlies, earning him the top spot on this NBA Top 100 list among rookies. Playing alongside fellow rookie sensation Ja Morant helped Clarke obtain a top 30 true shooting percentage, 67%. He also ranks in the top 35 in PER, 31st, and BPM, 33rd. His inefficient defense and playmaking are his biggest weakness, but he has plenty of time to correct those and move up this list. 64. Jamal Murray. Murray is known as a young playmaker thriving on an under-the-radar Nuggets team. This holds true, as he is top 50 in both points per game, 49th, and assists per game, 45th. However, somewhat surprisingly, he is also 40th in steals per game at 1.2 per game. His high turnover average, 2.3, and low rebounding rate are the categories he can improve the most upon. 63. Jonathan Isaac. Isaac came into the league with a lot of potential and was initially underwhelming. This season, however, he put his length to good use on the defensive end of the court. He ranked 2nd in blocks per game with 2.4 and 11th in steals with 1.6 per game. It is uncommon for one player to rank so well in both of these stats, and Isaac's unique abilities should not go unnoticed. His lack of playing time due to injury, only 32 games played, is the primary reason he did not finish higher on this list. 62. Will Barton. Barton lands on this list in large part due to his defense as well. His 1.1 steals per game and 2.1 defensive win shares are his highest ranked stats, not as far ahead of his defensive rebounding from a guard position. His main downfalls are his 1.5 turnovers per game and 54.9 true shooting percentage. 61. Danilo Gallinari. The veteran forward has been a major part of the upstart Thunder this year. His 19.2 points per game are top 50 in the league, and his offensive win shares, 4.1, are good for 23rd in the league. Gallinari, the 6'10 power forward, has a notable downfall this year, his 0.1 blocks per game, which ranks 374th out of 511 players. 60 through 56. Ivica Zubac, Eric Bledsoe, Deandre Ayton, Gordon Hayward, Daniel Theis. 60. Ivica Zubac. The misconception that the Clippers need another center has little warrant. The truth, they need to play their starting center, Zubac, more in the second half. He ranks in the top 10 in the league in offensive rebound percentage, 7th, and top 25 in offensive rebounds, 21st. He's also appeared in every single game the Clippers played this season. His fouls have typically been the reason his limits are limited, and they are a major reason he is as low as he is on this NBA Top 100 list. 59. Eric Bledsoe. Bledsoe is another player that benefits greatly from playing with the reigning MVP. His defensive win shares are top 20 in the league, and his 5.4 assists are perfect for the Giannis-led Bucks. However, his overall numbers are not high enough to negate his high usage rate and average turnovers. 58. DeAndre Ayton. Ayton had a very solid season. When he played, Ayton was one of 4 players hit with a 25-game suspension for breaking the drug policy. While on the court, Ayton ranked 3rd in the NBA in offensive rebounds per game, 4.1, and 10th in blocks per game, 1.7. He was also top 30 in defensive rebounds per game, 14th, and offensive rebound percentage, 25th, and defensive rebound percentage, 29th. His 25-plus missed games were his biggest drawbacks this season. 57. Gordon Hayward. After a severe ankle injury a couple of seasons ago, Hayward has found his rhythm again with the Boston Celtics. Despite not ranking in the top 25 in any single stat, Hayward is well above average in most stats. He averages 5.5 defensive rebounds per game and 4.1 assists, with a top 50 rank in offensive win shares. His 1.8 turnovers per game are his worst ranked stat. 1.8 turnovers per game can be overcome. 56. Daniel Theis. A second straight Celtic might not be who you expected to see this high up on the list, but his improved stats and consistency earned his place on the list. Theis ranked 20th in blocks per game, in top 35 in win shares, 26th, block percentage, 27th, offensive win shares, 30th, and offensive rebounds, 33rd. His issue with committing too many fouls is his biggest downfall, along with his poor assist and steal rates. 55 through 51. Spencer Dinwiddie, Paul George, Christian Wood, Richaun Holmes, Tobias Harris. 55. Spencer Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie has been a staple for avid NBA fans for the last couple of seasons. His combination of scoring, 20.6 per game, and playmaking, 6.8 assists and 35.6 assist percentage, make him an elite guard in this league. As a guard, his rebounding numbers are understandably low, but his high usage rate with lesser efficiency is his biggest downfall on this list. 54. Paul George. Perhaps one of the biggest surprises on this list is Paul George falling out of the top 50 after being in the top 3 of the MVP race last season. His points are, as usual, his highest rated stat at 28th in the league. However, his combination of missed games, inefficient shooting, and high usage rate drop him well below the top 10 to 15 rank he's become accustomed to. 53. Christian Wood. Christian Wood came out of nowhere to be a valuable piece for the depleted Pistons. After trading Andre Drummond and injuries to Blake Griffin, Wood became a top 25 player in PER. His true shooting percentage is among the best in the league at 65.9%. The area that Wood has the most room for improvement in is his playmaking stats. He only averaged 1 assist and 7.6 assist percentage, good for 317th and 354th in the league respectively. 52. Richaun Holmes. Holmes came into his own for the Kings this year, averaging 3 offensive rebounds per game, 11th best in the league. Holmes was also top 20 in blocks per game, 17th, and true shooting percentage, 19th. His lack of games played and 3.9 fouls per game average, worse than the league, are the biggest reasons he missed the top 50 in this NBA Top 100. 51. Tobias Harris. Harris has steadily increased his stock year after year. This season on the Sixers, he became the third option, a role that seems to fit him well. He has played in every game for the Sixers, while averaging 19.4 points per game. Although known for his shooting capabilities, he ranks in the top 25 in defensive win shares at 2.6. His high usage rate is his lowest ranked stat, along with inefficient steal and offensive rebounding rates.